Howdy folks, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with the mighty Jingles, and today I'm a man on a bit of a mission, and to explain what that mission is, first we're going to take a look at my Anaconda, the General Systems Vehicle Sleeper Services optional internal compartments. I have crammed it as full of economy class passenger cabins as I can without sacrificing safety. Next, I need to check out the galaxy map and plot myself a little course to the Semius system, in the heart of the Empire, and the home system of Lady Ashley Duval. The Duvals were the founding family of what used to be known as the Achenar Republic, and is now the Empire. And funnily enough, by a complete coincidence, Ashley Duval is also the person to whom I personally owe my loyalty in the game's power play system. So why are we in such a rush to head to the Semius system, and why are we stacked full of passenger cabins? Well, I think it's probably easier if I just let Galnet explain.
Terrorist attacks on Imperial Starports. Pilots Federation alert for the attention of all commanders. The Empire has broadcast this message across its emergency channels. There have been multiple explosions within Mackenzie Relay Station, in Princess Aisling Duval's home system of Semius. NMLA terrorists have claimed responsibility. In coordinated attacks, they have also struck at Tsiolkovsky Terminal in the Gap-Georgies system, Garrido Market in the LHS 4031 system, and Muller Terminal in the RAB system. We urgently request assistance from the galactic community with repairing these Starports and rescuing their populations. The Imperial Internal Security Service issued a bulletin regarding this current threat. The Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army is a paramilitary force of political extremists whose activities have been small-scale until now. Marlinism is a well-known ideology inspired by Marlin Duval, who established the Republic of Achenar in the 23rd century prior to it becoming the Empire. Many people in the fringe systems are Marlinists, who want to replace hereditary emperors with representation by elected senators. Neo-Marlinism is a more radical conviction that only terror tactics will force such change. The NMLA's hatred of the Imperial family explains why it has targeted starports under the Duval banner, but its use of portable military-grade explosives is unprecedented, suggesting an increase in resources.
So, there you go. Bunch of democracy-loving terrorists. The worst kind of terrorists are busy blowing up space stations. Was it Winston Churchill who said, "Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all of the others"? I think he might have had something there. But yes, we have a small group of people blowing things up and killing people in order to force the majority to do what the minority want. And what the minority wants is to have everything decided by what the majority wants. You couldn't make this shit up. Well, anyway, we're not here to get into the politics, he said without a single shred of irony right after getting into the politics. We're here to rescue them as needs rescuing, hence all the passenger cabins. It may not have escaped your attention, particularly if you're fans of the late great Ian M. Banks, that my Anaconda is called the General Systems Vehicle Sleeper Service. I do like the Anaconda, by the way, even though you can tell by all of the broken panels and exposed wires that it was built by Falcon de Lacy. But yes, the GSV Sleeper Service, from one of Ian M. Banks' culture novels, was a rather eccentric ship that had millions of passengers on board. But the passengers were all held in stasis. Basically, if people in the culture were just kind of tired of living and they wanted to drop out of things for a while, one of the options was to be transferred on board the sleeper service and be held in stasis for as long as they wanted. But, well, the ship was a bit weird. It didn't just store all of the passengers in stasis pods, for example. The ship had a eccentric fetish for recreating ancient battlefields, and it would use its massive internal bays to recreate these battles, and it would use its stasis passengers as the soldiers on the battlefields, all frozen in one particular act. It would just arrange them like dolls on a tabletop war game, except, you know, in real life. It was a seriously weird ship, but then again, everybody who went on board the sleeper service, it had a bit of a reputation. They knew what they were getting themselves in for, but it never hurt any of its passengers. It just had this really weird preoccupation with recreating ancient battles using its passengers. None of this, of course, bears any relation whatsoever to what I'm currently doing here in Elite. I just thought it was, well, kind of ironic that I'm flying a ship that I've named the GSV Sleeper Service, and here I am to take on a whole bunch of passengers. And if by coincidence I happen to tempt some of you into giving Ian M. Banks's books a try, well then, hey, so much the better. Just call it a happy coincidence. Anyway, Mackenzie Relay. All of the planets in this system are named after jewels, and unfortunately, Mackenzie Relay is on the far side of this planet, which goes by the name of Jade, which means I'm going to get slowed down here as I pass through Jade's gravity well. Mackenzie Relay is in orbit around the Earth-like world up ahead, which goes by the name of Emerald. So we're just going to skip ahead because this is actually going to take a while. Passing so close to Jade did actually add about an extra minute to this journey, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, but what are you going to do? It is what it is. We've nearly arrived. Mackenzie Relay, up ahead. Exit Supercruise, and there it is.
Commander, our station is currently in a state of emergency. Our inhabitants are in grave danger.
Mackenzie Relay is all messed up. Some of the storage modules have been blown wide open, and somebody has blasted a dirty grate hole in the habitat ring. Let's take a closer look. Switching to the external camera. I'm going to do a drive-by. Storage and manufacturing pods at the rear. At least one of them has taken a serious hit. The docking port looks like it's open to vacuum, and there's an entire section of the habitat ring been blown off. The habitat ring must be compartmentalized. If it is, the airlocks have held, because, well, the rest of the habitat ring appears to be intact. And the green stuff is still green and hasn't been exposed to vacuum and covered in frost. I'm pretty sure it's only spinning enough to generate 1/3 of a G of rotational gravity. With that amount of damage, any more than that would probably cause the rest of the ring structure to just break off and fly off into space. But anyway, we need to dock with Mackenzie Relay and get the refugees out. And that is not going to be easy for a whole number of reasons. I've done this sort of thing before, although not as bad as this. Quite a while back I was running refugees off a station that had been attacked and damaged by the Thargoids. This happens every now and then. The Thargoids bust out of the Pleiades cluster and go on a bit of a rampage shooting up space stations. However, I was kind of late to the party. I never visited a station when it was in this state. I visited a station after. Let's try and get docking clearance. Okay. I visited a couple of stations where people still needed evacuating, but repairs were in the process of being made. So the station was a mess, but it wasn't a disaster zone like this. This is right in the aftermath of the terrorist incident. So docking computer ain't going to work, and that's the least of my problems, as you'll see when we get inside. I mean, look at the state of this place. Now, all of you guys who have been ragging on me for always using the docking computer, now's your chance to say I told you so, because I have very little practice of doing manual dockings under the best of circumstances. And when you see what's going on inside Mackenzie Relay, look at that. This is anything but the best of circumstances. Everything that isn't on fire is exploding and going to be on fire. There are bits of station broken off and floating in 0 G, presenting navigational hazards, and it is hot in here. So, ready on the heat sinks, landing gear down. I need to do a manual landing under the worst possible circumstances. It says emergency vehicles only, don't worry, I can't. I'm evacuating refugees. Pop the heat sink. As long as you have plenty of heat sinks, you shouldn't take heat damage when you're doing this. It's just getting the ship down without flying into anything or blowing up. Right, made it. There, you see. I can do manual landings. I just choose not to. Right. Look at that. This is so cool. I mean, not for the people who live here, obviously, but look at that. Anyway, Starport services, check out the mission board. We're looking for the passenger lounge. There are no missions available at this station other than to get people out. Simple as that. And don't waste your time turning up in some fancy beluga liner with business class and first class cabins. Economy class cabins are all you need for this. You're just packing them in and you're getting them out as quickly as possible. So attempt to fill up all of your passenger cabins. I've got space for 104 people. It's not bad. Trying to pack in as many of these passenger evacuation contracts as I possibly can while the station's computer systems are still online. Got space for a few more. That'll have to do. Nobody seems to have missions to take single passengers off. I only have one passenger cabin left, so that's going to have to do. Right. Pack them in. Now I have to get them out. Oh boy. And again, no navigational assistance. It's all offline. And this is going to be a manual takeoff. With the station exploding around me and all kinds of wreckage floating around in 0 G, posing some serious navigational hazards. Alright, let's get a bit of altitude. Oh, there's a nasty fire down there. I don't want to think about what's in those. What kind of toxins are in those smoke clouds? Okay. Clear of the wreckage. Let's rotate, line up with the mail slot. Try to get over that piece of wreckage. Get myself lined up. And get out of here as fast as I can. Oh shit. Oh bollocks. It's okay, this is fine. That's why we have shields. Everybody thought they were going to get a Jingles landing when they saw me doing a manual landing approach on a damaged station. And you were wrong. You got a Jingles takeoff instead. I hope you're happy. Wait, what's that? Warning, fine gained for trespass. What? For... Really? Seriously? I'm here risking life and limb on an extremely expensive ship in order to save these ingrates. I get one knock on the way out and they hit me with a 400 credit fine. I'm half tempted to turn around and take the little buggers back. But come on, let's not go there, Jingles. You're doing this for the Empire. Look at that though. Isn't that spectacular? Elite used to do these kind of community events, often on a much bigger scale, so much more than they do now. In fact, this is the first time I've seen anything like this since I started playing Elite again. This isn't just cool and interesting and something different that you don't get to do every day, but it's also probably, while it lasts, the single best and most efficient way of grinding Imperial rank. even better than the infamous Mainani to Nagalian courier run that I exploited, I mean, used successfully all those months ago, because I'm already at the destination. It's in the same system, not even a light second out. Rescue ship. Too big to dock with the station. I'm sure they're sending their own shuttles over. Anonymous access. Oh yeah, I'm wanted in this system now, aren't I? Because of that 400 credit fine. I will be having words with somebody about this when this is all done. You mark my words. Oh yes, don't they know who they're dealing with? And I can use the docking computer here, so I'm bloody well going to. The beauty of this whole process, you know, aside from being something cool, different and interesting that you don't get to do every day, is because the value of what you're transporting, the passengers, at least their value in terms of the amount of reputation that you get for doing it, is easily 3 or 4 times the amount of reputation that you get for couriering. Is that even a word? It is now. Couriering data packets between the Nagalan and Mainani system, which, until now at least, is the go-to method of increasing Empire rank as quickly and efficiently as possible. Which of course is why this isn't going to last forever, but it's an absolute goldmine while it does. I can't even refuel here until I've paid off the fine. There we go, contacts. Authority contact. There you go. There's your 400 credits. I hope you choke on it. Yeah, anyway. Right, so I don't actually need Empire reputation or rank. I'm already a Duke. So I'm going to repair and restock everything, top off my heat sinks, and I'm basically probably going to take the engineering material rewards wherever they're available, because that's something that I can actually use. But if you're doing this, and I do recommend it because it is amazingly fun, and it is an insanely quick way of grinding out Imperial rank and reputation, it's just a little bit dangerous. And the bigger your ship, obviously, the more passengers you can pack on board, the better. Because while this sort of thing lasts, the turnaround in terms of Imperial rank and reputation is absolutely astronomical. And it's a lot of fun, because, as I've already said, this is not something that you get to do every day. And it really is spectacular. I really wish they'd do this sort of thing more often. But the developers have already said that they're not going to be doing as many community events as they did in the past, which is why this took me completely by surprise. I was not expecting anything like this to happen in the run-up to Odyssey, the next expansion, which is obviously what the developers are currently focused on full-time. So, hey, I'm happy. I'll take it. And if you're interested in grinding Imperial rank and or reputation, or you're just bored and you want to do something that you haven't done before, I can highly recommend this. And I hope you've enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed getting the background footage for it. That's it for today, folks. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.